Welcome everybody. So, there is a massive deception happening in the self-improvement space right now, and it is keeping you trapped. So every guru tells you that if you relapse and watch pornography, it's because you're weak, or you lack masculine discipline, or you're gay, or you're failing at willpower, right? They tell you to just grind harder and start another streak. Keep counting the streak, it's okay, just literally overcome this addiction, bro. It's not that hard. That's what everyone is telling you. But you've tried that. You've added rows, you've tracked streaks, and every single time life hits you hard emotionally, your logic vanishes and you fall right back into the loop again. You've told yourself that you'll never watch pornography, but you've managed to do it again, and you relapsed. And then the shame hits you even more because you told God, if you believe in God, right, that you've never do it again. You will never do it again, but you managed to do it again. And you decide that you are just a broken person. That became your reality. I'm just a broken person. I don't know what to do with life anymore. I'm just gonna accept that the fact that I will be addicted for the rest of my life. And the cycle tightens. But guess what? That's the reason I want to make this video in the first place, because I've seen all of these people, all of these scammers on social media that will always tell you that you are a loser, that you are a pathetic person who cannot do anything to overcome this addiction. Just do push-ups, brother. Take cold showers, brother. Go outside and touch some grass. But guess what? I'm here to tell you something that might actually shock you. Nothing is wrong with you. There's nothing that is wrong with you. You are just fighting the completely wrong layer. That's the thing. You are fighting something that you shouldn't fight in the first place, right? And that your problem is not a bad habit. The problem is not that you are watching pornography and relapsing, because it's a highly optimized coping mechanism. Think about it. You're not addicted to pornography. You are using it as a coping mechanism. And in this video, I'm going to show you the exact neuroscience of why your willpower fails every single time and how to actually make this behavior useless to your brain. I've always wanted a person to make this type of video when I use it to be addicted. So I was like, okay, I've seen a lot of people struggling with this addiction and they watch this channel. So actually, let me make a video that will actually make them, at least overcome this addiction by watching my videos. Okay, so that was the first phase. The second phase is the core teaching, habit-based coping mechanism. Okay, so let's start with a hard truth, is that your ego does not want to accept this. So the problem that you have kind of is like the ego, basically. That's kind of like one of the issues that you have to fix, basically. If it didn't not work for you, you will not be doing this in the first place. And so you don't relapse because you suddenly forget your goals or your business vision or your values or whatever, right? Whatever is happening in your life. You relapse because at the exact microsecond, your brain feels like it is completely necessary. You have to do it. You cannot do anything. Even though you told yourself that you'll never do it again, you did it again because your brain told you to do so. You wanted this dopamine hit, and not even pleasurable, but necessary for survival. And so that is the difference between a habit and a coping mechanism. Very important to understand. So a habit is brushing your teeth or trying your shoes. A coping system or a coping mechanism is an automated emergency protocol that your nervous system, as you can see here, oops, I will fix it 1 second, that your nervous system uses to bring you back to balance when you feel overwhelmed, empty, or stressed. Especially when you came back from work, you just want to relax, basically. And then your wife is cooking and your wife told you to go and play with the kids, right? And you feel so overwhelmed, so stressed, you don't know what to do, you just want to relax. And so, boom, you've been scrolling on the TV channels or your phone, and out of nowhere you have this girl. She's probably a model, she's probably a porn star, right, on your Instagram feed, and boom, now you keep scrolling and more and more and more and more, and it makes you feel good because you no longer think about what you have to do, right? You're no longer thinking about the real world that you are living in. You are just thinking about the pleasurable thing that you're doing currently. And the reason why you do this is because you are using it as a coping mechanism. So your nervous system does not care about your multi-year business goals, right? Because that was so relatable when I used to be addicted, okay? And so it does not care about your no-fap streak. No-fap is a bullshit. I made a video about it. It does not care about your morality, right? It's morally incorrect to watch pornography, right? No, your brain does not care about this. Let's be honest. It cares about exactly one thing. It's reducing immediate biological discomfort. Okay, so let me show you this. Let's put this here so you guys can see. Okay, perfect. Here we go. So here's the frequency of viewing pornography by age. Look, every day, several times a week, at least once a week, a few times a month, and a few times a year, or never. As you can see, 11 to 12 years old, boom, a spike here, right? It's a few times a year, but let's be honest, right? It's probably every single day, or let's say every other day for people that are, for the kids, are between the age of 11 to 12 years old. Because there's a scientific study that proves that people find out about pornography at the age of 13, or they get exposed to pornography at the age of 8. So it depends. For my case, it was at 11. For other people, it can be at 8. For other people, it can be at 12. So it depends basically. But it's mostly at this age when most of people find out about pornography, as you can see. And getting exposed to it at such a young age is something that will make you feel very, very good, because it's very rewarding and you don't know it yet. And your prefrontal cortex is still improving. So your nervous system will get used to it. And the only thing that you have to do when you're gonna have bad grades, or when your mom will scream at you at such a young age, is use pornography, because it's a coping mechanism. And so think back, this data that I showed you right now shows the average young man is first exposed to this, pornography, between the age of 12 and 13, sometimes even as young as 8 or 9. So it really depends, like I've told you previously. At that age, you were just a kid. No one taught you how to process intense emotional pressure, rejection, or loneliness in general, right? Those are kind of like the negative emotions that you're gonna feel at this age. So no one gave you the blueprint on how to calm your own nervous system. Nobody told you to do meditation, try to be emotionally intelligent with your own, or let's say, try to be conscious or make the subconscious conscious to understand every single emotion that you feel, in order to really find the root cause of these negative emotions, how they get generated out of nowhere, basically, right? Or maybe your perspective on how you see those negative emotions. So your brain stumbled upon a shortcut at such a young age. Remember, at this age, you don't know nothing. Your brain knows one thing, which is, this is so powerful. Give me more. I like it, right? At such a young age, again, have to make sure that you understand. Such a young age, that this is freaking hard. That's criminal. That's bad. That's disgusting. That's crazy to get exposed at such a young age. And so you felt anxious before, bad, and knocks you out. Literally. You feel bad, you feel sad, boom, no more negative emotions just by watching pornography, right? You feel rejected or insecure at school at such a young age, because a lot of people get bullied in school. It made you feel instantly wanted. Literally, right? You feel bored and empty. It created a massive hyper-stimulated intensity. All of this just because of pornography. And so your brain learned a simple equation for a lot of people, is that bad feeling equals screen, which is watching pornography, equals instant relief, instant gratification. And so over a decade, the equation became a biological reflex, not a conscious choice. People do it because they're used to it, and they do it automatically. So if you watch this video, you're probably sure, and I'm very sure, that you are doing it not consciously, because you're not taking a conscious decision. Obviously, if you think logically, it's not the best thing you can do. You're doing it based on your emotions, because you don't know how to handle those quote-unquote negative emotions. Even though for me, I don't see any emotions negative, but you get what I'm saying, right? So when you try to quit cold turkey, right, that's what they call it, your brain doesn't see it as self-improvement, right? It interprets it as a danger, flight or fight mode for your nervous system, because your nervous system is used to it. So you are trying to strip away the only survival mechanism it knows to escape emotional weight, and that's why the intense restlessness and mental bargaining kicks in. Think about it. You find out about pornography at such a young age. What do you expect if you want to overcome this addiction in just freaking in couple months? Think about it. It's so hard for your nervous system. Your nervous system, your body, your brain, every single thing in you physically is used to pornography, because you've been consuming it since you were young, and you got exposed to it since you were young. So it's kind of like the only relief that you have when you're gonna feel negative in your day-to-day basis, right? And so I just want to make sure and make things clear that so everyone can actually understand what I mean by coping mechanism, right? I have to make sure, right? So a coping mechanism is a technique individuals use to manage stress, anxiety, or negative emotions. Different coping mechanisms such as problem solving, exercise, relaxation techniques, self-care, and social support can be healthy and constructive. Those are like kind of like what you can do instead of using coping mechanism or coping with those negative emotions instead of watching pornography, basically. But yeah, coping mechanism for to make things clear and easy is you are coping with those emotions. You feel sad, you feel overwhelmed, you feel stress. You have to cope with them because your body or your nervous system doesn't like it. So your body or your nervous system, let's say your nervous system and your brain knows one solution. If you feel sad, if you feel bad, if you feel overwhelmed, pornography, because you've been exposed to it since you were young. So you are not really addicted to pornography, you are using it as a coping mechanism. Okay, so now I'll explain you why willpower and calling it an addiction fails. Very, very important. Okay, I've always wanted someone to explain me this when I was quote unquote addicted, and now I will expose this thing that people call addiction, porn addiction, right? So this is why knuckling it with willpower fails you every single time. Willpower does not work, let's be honest. Willpower only functions when your nervous system, very important to understand, is perfectly calm, fed, and rested. Okay? So obviously if you feel sad, stressed, overwhelmed, you're gonna watch pornography. You cannot handle it. Okay, your nervous system needs it. But when does the urge actually shows up? It shows up at night when you are exhausted. For most of you, they watch pornography and relapse at night, including me when I used it to be addicted 3 years ago. When you are stressed out from your business or from your job, or if you go into university, from university obviously, when you feel isolated, alone, or behind in life, then that's when you're gonna go and watch pornography and relapse, right? So in those dark moments, your brain isn't making what is best for my 5 years future, right? Your brain doesn't care about the next 5 years. Oh, yeah, if I want to make myself better, I have to overcome this addiction as quick as possible. For the next 5 years, I can be successful, or I can have better grades, or whatever you want to have in your life, whatever goals you have, right? So it's frantically screaming, how do I make this heavy feeling in my chest stop right now? Because he doesn't care about the future, he doesn't care about the past, he cares about the instant moment, right now, okay? And the screen answers that question instantly. It's instant gratification for a reason. It's called instant gratification. It's instant, and it's gratify your body, right? Or your brain, by giving you a surge of dopamine that is so bad and basically so unnatural. It's so unnatural. It will make you feel bad afterwards, right? So logic vanishes and emotions dictate your reality. And so worst is that when you label yourself as a broken addict, when you call yourself that I'm just an addicted person, I cannot do anything, then you inject massive shame into your identity. And shame signals to your brain or your body, or your body in general, not only your brain, that you are a completely unsafe. And what does an unsafe body do, right? If you feel unsafe, what will your body do? You probably guessed it. It panics and searches for comfort. And what is the comfort for your nervous system since you've been consuming pornography since you were young? Makes sense. Pornography and masturbation, right? So the exact comfort, it already knows how to get the shame cycle. Obviously, because the shame cycle tightens over time, right? So this is your nervous system, as you can see. Boom. So this is your brain, spinal cord, nerve cell, etc. This is what I mean by nervous system. When your nervous system feels unsafe, this is when you actually go and watch pornography, basically, right? And so here, another thing, which is the solution. Obviously, I want to give you guys the solution and make it obsolete. Really understand. So what is the real goal of the recovery? Let me explain you this. As the philosopher Epictetus profoundly stated, it is impossible for a man to learn what he thinks he already knows. Okay, I just want to put this here and explain why I said this. So you must drop the ego-driven belief that you just need to fight harder because you are using your ego basically to overcome this addiction, which will never work. Trust me, I've been addicted for 7 years. I've coached hundreds of men to overcome this addiction, and I've made them overcome this addiction, and all of them, they used willpower, ego or techniques they saw from self-improvement gurus on social media, like taking cold showers and doing I'm not gonna swear, stuff like that. This is BS. That's not how things work. That's why it makes me mad, because I was one of those guys and I really thought, I was so happy. I was like, oh my gosh, finally I will overcome this addiction. But it just made it worse. Really, trust me. Like, that's the worst thing you can ever feel. And so the goal is not to aggressively fight the behavior. The goal is to make the behavior completely unnecessary. The goal is to see pornography for what it is really and devalue pornography. That's the main goal, is to devalue pornography. Once again, I have to say it again, is to devalue pornography, right? It's not to fight it. Remember, you have to flee from it. If you want to flee from lust, you have to flee from lust. You have to run away. And so how can you run away from it as quick as possible? It's not by running away, obviously, physically, but is to see it for what it is really. To understand what it is really on a deeper level and devalue it, basically, right? And so when your nervous system finally learns new manual ways to regulate stress, process emptiness, and manage loneliness, this behavior loses its job. Because think about it. The reason why you watch pornography is because you are using it as a coping mechanism. But the reason why you are using it as a coping mechanism, it's because you don't know how to deal with the stress or loneliness or emptiness. You don't have the skill of knowing how to deal with those negative emotions, right? So when you're gonna learn how to do so, by doing meditation, right? By trying to have this thing called the metacognition, by trying to be more spiritual and journaling, and try to journal every single emotion that you feel and try to find the best solution for every single emotion, right? If you feel, let's say if you feel lonely, what you can do is start literally write down why you feel lonely and how can you fix it with your own words. Try to find the best solution for your own, basically. That's what we do inside our coaching program, is that I'm doing it for you, obviously, because you're gonna join our coaching program, right? But what I do is that I try to see what is the best solution for the person who feel lonely at a very specific time. What is the best thing that he can do instead of watching pornography, right? But also we compound a lot of informations and we build like a very specific data about pornography to make them understand that there is no such a thing as pornography or porn addiction, and really devalue pornography by finding the root cause of it. You need to find the root cause of why you feel lonely in the first place, basically, right? But if you think about it, everything that does not exist in the nature will push you to have those negative emotions. This is a conclusion that I came up with for these couple of days because I was really thinking about it on a deeper level. The reason why you're probably gonna feel lonely is because you've been scrolling a lot and you've been doing unnatural things, basically, because in the end of the day you are a human and you have to socialize with people, and by keep scrolling and I'm not gonna say watching pornography because this is gonna make you feel ashamed, but you get what I'm saying, right? This will make you have this social anxiety because you no longer want to talk with people. But as soon as you're gonna go outside and actually have conversations with other people, now you'll no longer feel lonely. It makes sense, right? That's kind of like the fix that you can do. This is, for example, a fix that can work for me if I ever feel lonely. For you, it can be something else. So that's why in our coaching program, it's very personalized, basically, right? And so this behavior loses its job, and the human brain does not hold into useless, redundant actions. It lets them go naturally, obviously, right? So you must learn what you were never taught, which is, instead of escaping stress and using porn as a coping mechanism, right, or coping by using stress or coping from stress, is you must learn how to physically down-regulate your nervous system and sit with discomfort without panicking. That's what you should be doing. So instead of escaping loneliness, you must build a deep real-world connection and brotherhood. Instead of escaping boredom, you must aggressively build an integrated life of purpose, metrics, and direction so your reality doesn't feel completely empty at night. So if you think about it, you aren't a failing man, or you aren't a person who is addicted. You're not a loser or whatever people tell you on social media, right? Because those are limiting beliefs that come out from external beliefs from people that have limiting beliefs, and this will limit you and make you think that you are a person who is limited just because of your beliefs. There is no such a thing as limiting beliefs. You're not a person who is limited. You are a human in the end of the day. The only thing that will limit you is your own mind, okay? And so you are an unguided man who has been using a primitive baseline strategy to cope with high level masculine pressure. Let's be honest, the reason why a lot of people watch pornography, it's not because they have high testosterone, it's because those people behind, porn industry, they know how men thinks in the first place, and they understood that if they can make them cope with those quote unquote negative emotions, they will easily become, hooked to pornography. And so it's easy for them to build millions or billions of dollars on a yearly basis. And that's what's actually happening currently, especially with the rise of AI. I might make a video about this. Let me know in the comments. So stop fighting your own body and start rebuilding your entire system from the root. Okay? Very important. And so if you are tired of running on this automated loop and you are ready to stop white knuckling this fight in isolation, apply for our elite coaching program using the link in the description below, and let's map out your specific system, reclaim your sound mind, and execute like men. Like this video, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you inside. As you can see, this is the link. You can click on it. You can check our website, see if you want to book a call with us. You can check. We've made a lot of people overcome this addiction. So if this is something that you are ready and you generally want to overcome this addiction as quick as possible with a person who will hold you accountable, since I've made hundreds of men overcome this addiction, I'm pretty good at doing this. I'll be honest with you. I've made a lot of people overcome this addiction, and I fucking love what I'm doing. I'm just so grateful. I'm so happy to be in this position because I understood how bad I was addicted. I'm so grateful. I'm really grateful. My gratitude will literally explode. I'm so happy. I really love when I'm looking at a person who was addicted and who was scared, who never felt freedom before, go from this to a person who is free, who is masculine, who uses his body into something that will benefit him, who is transmuting his sexual energy into something that will benefit him once again on the long term. So yeah, thank you for watching this video. If you have any comments, let me know.